Welcome everybody to P2 in our 5 Ps to sustainable, successful business. So I'm really excited about today's one because again, there's just a few things that we get to dig a little bit deeper. Okay, I've got a little secret for you. Our business is about people. So if you don't like people, you're kind of going to find it a little bit difficult. You can come to like people, I'll just tell you that. But it is about people. And at the end of the day, the main thing is that we actually get paid to how we build our business is about having conversations with people. It's about building relationships with people. So we're going to dig a little bit deeper around that. And some people say to me, okay, well, that's all well and good, but where do I find the people and so on and so forth? So, pardon me, we're going to dig a little bit into that today. So if you think about every single day, really what we get to do, the high-paying activities in this business is about having those conversations. It's about looking for opportunities to build relationships. It's about looking for opportunities to be able to start conversations wherever that might be. And that's what it is that you're doing, because everything from there will actually develop. You'll come across people that, A, can just become really great friends, B, may actually decide to add juice plus to their diet, or C, may actually decide that they're going to link arms with you and build this fantastic business as well. So, you know, that's at the beginnings, it's about having those conversations. Now, I know that today we do those conversations in a number of different ways. Some people do them, whether that is in person to person, through events, at networking events, but also, of course, now as well on social media. I think for a large part, some of the same rules apply. Now, I'm not going to claim to be any social media expert, okay? I didn't build my business using social media because, to be honest, I'm that old that it wasn't really around, okay? However, I have watched and learned over time on what people are doing that are successful. And the ones that are successful actually treat those conversations like as if they were sitting down and having a cup of tea with that person. I think that's the really important thing. It's not about spamming people. It's actually taking the time to get curious and want to know a little bit about people. So what I would love for you to do is write a word down that really is going to, I suppose, be a little bit of a mantra of how you build your business or how you go forward from here. And it's actually 2 words, really, okay? It's get curious. As I said before, spell check is not installed on here, so if I make spelling mistakes, get over it. But get curious. What I mean by that is about getting curious about what people are doing, what people, you know, what really drives people. What do they enjoy doing? What is their life about? When I say get curious, about being interested enough in the person that's in front of you to actually want to ask questions, rather than being that person who at every single opportunity just wants to spew juice plus on top of people, whether that's juice plus the product or juice plus the business, that you actually don't take the time to get curious about what's going on for people. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an example. I've just come back from New Zealand. In New Zealand, I was driving at one stage from Napier down to just north of Wellington to go and meet with some great guys there. So on the way, I stopped in North Plymouth, I think it was, Plymouth, yes, and to get a coffee, okay? So normal things, when you're traveling, you stop to find Wi-Fi, toilets, and coffee. That was what I was doing. So I thought I'll just have a little stop. So while I was there, I was waiting for my order, and I sit down. I generally will, even if I'm waiting, if there's a communal table or something like that, I will generally sit at it. Now, rather than going straight onto my phone, which is a lot of the time what we're doing, remember when we're on our phones, where are we looking? We're looking down. So I can tell you guys that there are opportunities that are walking right past us when we're spending all of our time looking down. Just want to let you know that. I know there may be some opportunities on here too, but there's also some conversations, some real people that you might actually want to get curious about that will be right around you. So beside me at that table, was waiting for her coffee as well, or her order as well, was a mum, obviously, and I'm saying a mum, and that I found out afterwards that she is, because she had this little fellow with her as well. And it's obvious that he'd been playing soccer. And I just casually said to her, oh, can't wait for this cuppa. And she's, yeah, no, I know the same kind of thing. She's, we've been out all morning. I said, standing on the side of some kind of pitch? And she said, yes. And she introduced me, and it was George. And George had just been playing soccer. And I said, oh, my boys play soccer. Tell me a little bit about, so what position do you play, whatever. I got curious about him. Why did I get curious about him? Because honestly, if you're a parent and somebody takes an interest in your child and creates conversation with them, you actually really enjoy that too. So we had a bit of a conversation. I knew that he'd won his game and he'd scored 2 goals. So there was already some stuff there. And I said, so how often, do you do that? I started having a conversation with the mum. And I said, what else do you do? And she said, I'm actually an artist. And so she talked to me about her art. And I said, I got curious about her art. She loved to do it. I was able to find out that she absolutely loved her art. She loved doing it. She actually did a lot of commissions for people as well, but found it difficult to make money. So she actually had a job as well to be able to do what she was passionate about. But the job took up an awful lot of time. So, of course, then it was around that. Now, so I was curious. In that time, I knew that she was originally from England. Okay, she'd actually lived in Auckland for 8 years, lived down here for another 8 years, was divorced, had 2 children, was in a new partnership, and was actually building a house. All of that in about 10 minutes. Why? Because I just got curious. I just kept asking her questions about herself, and she just opened up. Honestly, you can generally start a conversation, ask a question, and if you're prepared to listen and show interest, people will open up and share their whole life. Okay, and so that was gorgeous. We had a bit of a conversation in that, and she told me about that. And as I was digging a little bit more, it was obvious that her art was her passion. That's what she really, really loved to do. But also, she didn't want it to be such a pressure that she actually had to make all of her money from there, so she had the job. And I said, well, you know what? I'm not sure if this is for you, but I'd love to share what it is that I do. She said, what do you do? And I said, I help people to start businesses from home, to be able to work around everything else that they actually love, whether that's families, whether it's another job, or whether it's a passion. It's about home-based businesses. And I've partnered with a health food company, a whole food company. She said, oh my gosh, that sounds really interesting. So we just had a couple of minutes to have a bit of a chit chat about that. And I said, look, now's not exactly the right time because I know that you're shooting off and whatever like that, and I'm heading off, but I'd love to have a connection so that we can have a chat. She said, I would love to. She went out, we walked out of the premises, she went straight to her car, she got her card, she gave it to me, and she says to me, I can't wait for us to connect. Okay. Now, so that's in the process of connection now at this point in time. It's not about the outcome. What I'm talking to you about there is the fact that when we get curious, people say to me a lot, I don't know who to talk to. I don't know who to ask. Just get curious about when you're doing life, anywhere that you are, whether you're at a coffee shop, whether you're out on the side of a soccer pitch or a netball court, no matter where you are, get curious about people, because when you get curious about people and you ask them questions, they will open up with you. And at the end of the day, what they start to do is a few things. Just by asking questions, you can identify their values, what's really important to them. Okay, for that lady, her values were strong around her kids. She loved to be able to be there for her lads. She loved to be able to be at the soccer. She shared all of that. So her family was really, really important to her. It's high value for her. She is creative. Okay, she loved that art and being able to create things for people and seeing, what it is that they do. So she loved that. She's very able to have conversations and that, because we had a great conversation. So there are some things that you can do, but I was also able to find out what her pain was. Her pain really was that she wanted to be able to work around her children. She's got a new partner, and they're building a home, and she really wanted to spend more time doing her art rather than at a job to be able to pay for what it was that she was doing. So she wanted flexibility. She liked to travel. We got that as well. She liked to head back to her family in the UK. And then she'd been to a number of different places. So in that, literally, honestly, the conversation would have been probably 10 minutes at the most, I would say. I managed to get an awful lot of information, out of her. And I told her very little bit about myself, really just about what it is that I do. That's it. Because any time that there was a lull, I asked another question about her. I just kept getting curious about her. And there's opportunities to do that all the time. It's the same online. The people I watch that are super successful get curious about people. They don't just use it as a place just to spam. They really take people to that next level. They look and they think, okay, well, what is it they're liking? They'll ask some questions. Even if somebody likes their post or makes a comment on it, they'll go into that private message and say, thank you so much for liking my post. What was it that attracted you to it? Or I love that comment. I feel the same way, and so on. So you're actually starting to create curiosity. And then tell me a little bit more about you. What are you passionate about? What do you love doing? If you were not doing this, what would you be doing? Okay, so it's actually just about asking questions. And this is where, to me, the grid becomes really, really powerful. When I was building my business, I needed a way to be able to track my activity so that my activity would actually turn into outcomes of some sort. Doesn't matter what the outcome, but it's outcomes of some sort. And I found that I was creating conversations. And I had to learn to do this, by the way, guys. I'm an introvert playing in an extrovert's world. Networking, going to a networking event or anything like that, to me was absolutely terrifying in the beginning. So I had to reframe it. Every one of my conversations, every networking event I went to was about really finding new friends. I actually called it friend finding. So I'm going to a networking event, I'm going friend finding. I'm looking for that next person that I actually want to spend some time with. Now, whether that's to do business with them or whether that's to become friends with them, social activity, go for a cup of coffee with them, whatever. And at the end of the day, I'm going to talk a little bit about your avatar in a while. The reality is that if you wouldn't be prepared to have a cup of coffee with them, you probably don't want them in your business because there's not a values match there. So the grid came about because I was having these conversations, but I also realized too that my follow-up was not as effective as what it could be. So the grid became a way of actually being able to track that. So if you've got your grid, which is, for those of you who are not sure what that is, it's your 30 squares on a piece of paper. There's also a grid video on the YouTube channel as well, but you can go and dig a little bit deeper into that. But every conversation that I started, their name would go into a box on that grid. And just a couple of little notes. What was I going to do? What was my follow-up there? Had I promised to send them a link? Had I promised to invite them to an event? Were we catching up for a cup of coffee? Whatever it might be. So I knew that I was always going back, because before using the grid, to be honest, I'd be having these conversations, and then a week later I'd go, oh my goodness, I haven't followed up with such and such. And then I would kind of create a little story. I'd go into what I touched on the last training, that whole blame, shame, and justify. Oh no, they didn't like me. They mustn't be interested in what it is that I'm doing. You know, and I don't know if this has ever happened for anybody else, but I'd have this whole little conversation in my head around how they were certainly not interested in what it was that I had to offer. And they didn't like me, they didn't like my product, and whatever. And really, none of it was true. It was just a story I was telling myself. But what it was by becoming more effective in making sure that I was doing my follow-up in a professional manner. And of course, I always set them up for the fact that they knew I would be following up. They knew I was going to be doing something, whether that was inviting them to an event, sending a link, or actually catching up in some way, shape, or form. They knew that there was follow-up coming, and because it was on my grid, I knew that I actually did it. So there was that two-way street. Now, at the end of the day with your grid, it's not about that, you start to track. So, a cross means no, and for me, it's always just no, not now. It's not no, not ever, just no, not now. So I would actually then add them back to my memory jogger list and just stay in touch with them. It could be yes, that they add the product to their diet, or it could be that yes, they add the business, and they would be highlighted in different ways. It really helped me become even more and more effective with what it was that I was doing. And I was constantly, my grids were everywhere with me. So if I was sitting at school pickup and I had time in the car there, I'd be smiling down, just doing some follow-ups, or whatever it might be. Now, of course, you can send messages from wherever you are, and you can be following up with people via Messenger or Voxer or WhatsApp or whatever, all of the many, many different tools that we have. I think the most important thing about having these tools is actually using them. So the grid to me was just a very, very simple way of being able to do your follow-up. So I really encourage you that, Dr. Ivan Meisner, who was the founder of BNI, Business Networks International, coined the phrase, the fortune is in the follow-up. And it's just so true. It really, really is. Because at the end of the day, guys, if we don't follow up, it's a definite no. But if we do, it's a 50-50. And what we know to be true is that we are going to get more no's than yeses, especially at the beginning. But you will be surprised how that changes over time. You'll still get people that are just not interested. It's just not for them right now. They will still get curious, though. Oftentimes people watch and come full circle and actually decide that, actually, now is the time to join the business, or now is the time to add Juice Plus to my diet, whatever it might be. I never slammed the door behind somebody just because they weren't interested right now. Two things. A, it never took me away from my goals that I was achieving. I wasn't going to let somebody who wasn't interested right now stop me from pursuing my dreams. But also B, it might just not be their time. I always look at it. It's in God's timing. It's their time. Okay, it's when it's right for them. But by building a relationship, staying in touch and sowing into that relationship, I've got a much better chance of them actually coming full circle. And more importantly, when the time is right for them, then rather than looking up Juice Plus in the phone book and ringing the office, that they actually will phone me, that they will actually have that conversation with me. So that's really, really important. Okay. Track your activities then, having your grids, and as I said, there's a number of different ways in which you can do that. So I just had the, what I actually used to buy for all my team, to be honest, was just the cheap $2 calendars, you know, that you could buy, not for the dates, but the fact that it was a book of 12 grids. Or you could buy like the squares, or you can just print out a piece of paper that's got 30 squares on it, and go from there. When I was first building my business, my goal was actually high five. I was high-fiving my business every day, okay? Monday through Friday with my 2 days for catch-up, okay? So my goal was actually to have conversations with at least 25 people. Now, you guys, I know, can do that in a day now with social media and that, and even over the course of the week. I just make sure that even on social media or whatever you're doing, make sure that you're allowing yourself the time to do the follow-up and build the relationship, have the conversations rather than just spamming, guys, okay? Make sure that however many number that you're doing it. Now, I was doing that face-to-face. We still have a number of people here. I had a conversation with one of our distributors yesterday who, because of religious beliefs, they won't do social media or Zoom, electronic kind of thing. So what way would they do it? They would do it the way that we've built businesses for years, okay? Lots of successful people just having those conversations, going to networking events, you know, gathering with people and actually getting great at getting curious about what people are doing and who they are, who those people are, okay? So, okay, how are we going to find these people? How are we going to attract them to them? So I want to touch on a couple of different exercises that I really encourage you to do. The first one is being clear about who you are, your values. And there's a number of ways in which you can do this. You can do a values tool test. There are a number of different ones. I really do enjoy the one by Dr. John DeMartini. It's very, very simple. And the link will be in the workbook and in the groups. And then the other one is another document that I'll load up for you. It's a values document. And there's two ways in which you will actually use this one. So the first one is that there are actually a list of descriptives that will just bounce off the page at you. Some of the words you won't even see because they don't resonate with you at all. And your whole goal is to kind of look at what are the characteristics that you would love to see betray, you know, kind of that would come in, that would be embodied in the ideal person that you would love to work with. Now, people, and I say our job is to talk to people, but our job is not to invite every single person into your business. Just because they're upright and breathing does not actually mean that you should recruit them. Okay, if they're not people that have character match or values match with you, you will probably find that you will butt heads more than what you will actually do business together. So I think it's really, really important to always make sure that at some stage there's a values match. Now, everything that you have important will not be in the other person. However, there will definitely be a crossover of those values. And the more values that are actually in alignment, the easier it is oftentimes to work together. Okay. From there, then, it's looking at the character traits. Now, a successful distributor, one of the first things that they need to be is coachable, teachable, be prepared to plug into systems. I also think that some kind of financial savvy is actually really good too, so that they know that they're in a position that they're actually going into business. Remember, this is a business that people are signing up for. It might not be a huge initial outlay like some businesses might be, but it's still a business. And so there are responsibilities around paying accounts, making sure that you've got enough money in there to actually do the initial sign up, but also to be paying for your product, etc. So a little bit of, you know, financial savvy in this might be in there as well as a character trait or an attribute that you might actually like to have. Remember that one of the things about creating this avatar, creating this person that you want to attract to you, is the fact that this is somebody that you're going to be hanging out with a lot. We spend a lot of time with our Juicy family, especially those that are those frontline ones. They become pretty much part of your family. They become friends that you hang out with. We travel together. We spend a lot of time together. So, you know, some of the attributes that I would have on my list are fun, okay, vivacious, giving. Okay, somebody who has contribution high on their value list, servant leader. You know, there's some of the different attributes, and there's a whole list of them that you'll actually be able to go through. But pick out those kind of 6 to 12 that really are things that are important to you. Now, what I want to say here is sometimes when people are building their avatar, they can actually get quite specific around the age, the gender, and all sorts of things. I actually believe that, and there's nothing wrong with any of that, so please go down that path if you would like to. But one of the things that I actually feel that when we're attracting people, it's actually more about the energy. It's the energy that we put out. You know yourself when somebody walks into a room and there's something about them and you just kind of go, I want to hang with that person. I want to be like that person. I really admire them. What is it that they've got or that they're doing or how they hold themselves that I actually want to be like? Okay, so there's some of those. And there are other people that walk in and you just kind of go, whoa, okay, their energy just sucks the energy out of the room and you know that that's not who you want to be. As I said, just because they're upright and breathing, if they're like that, if they're one of those people, do you really want to bring them into the business to work with you? Okay, there might not be that values match there, and so there will be the butting of the heads. But the person that you do resonate with, the person that energetically you get to attract, and the more you embody these values and these characteristics yourself, the more you will start to attract people to you that actually really, really embody that. So I think it's important to make sure that you get clear on, first of all, know thyself. What's important to you? What are the values that really, really, resonate with you, that you live through? And as I say, doing some of the exercises will show that up for you. Secondly, what are the character attributes that you actually want to then, see embodied in the ideal distributor, the ideal team member, that new franchisee that's going to come along, and you just know that you've got your running buddy, that you've got some people. This is not about discriminating, guys. This is just about being clever about who it is that you're actually attracting. From that energy, then, you are going to attract people to you. Now, those character attributes become your I am statements, okay? We all have those I am statements, okay? And part of yours, if you are starting out in this business and that, I am coachable, I am teachable, I am plugging into systems, I am fun, I'm financially savvy, I am a business owner, I am whatever it might be, I am a national marketing director, whatever it might be, your I am statements, really looking at what are they, because if you want to see them in somebody else, you've got to embody them in yourself. Okay, we can't have this perfect vision of somebody over here and we're just playing half-hearted over here. We're not prepared to work on ourselves. One of the biggest journeys you will go on in this business is the personal development, the growth that you will go. And I want to share a little bit from, I just spent the weekend learning at the feet of Joe Dispenza. And again, Dr. Joe shared a lot of thoughts. But one of the things that I really see from this perspective here is when people are really trying to shift their business and attract people to their business that actually are going to have that values match, but also, get on and link arms in a fun way, which that, this business becomes actually fun. So it's about really making sure then that we are embodying what it is that we do. So if we want to be in our new state of being, so we want to be a person over here that is attracting those people to us, we then need to create a new state of being. So in our old state, if we think about it, we have probably, and you can probably identify them now, we've had the same thoughts that have led to the same choices, that have led to the same actions and behaviors, the same experiences, the same feelings. This is our old state of being. However, if we really want to be inspired and actually attract awesome people to our team, we then need to embody that awesomeness. So we're going to need to make some new choices. We're going to have some new thoughts. This is why our I am statements are important. And it's not just saying them rote, okay? It's not just like, just rolling them off your tongue. It's actually adding emotion to them. My I am statements currently, my two power I am statements this year are I am courage and I am present. Okay, and when I talk them, I come back to them oftentimes throughout the day. But I am faith, I am love, I am passion, I am gratitude. So when I say them, I actually really think about them, okay, as I start off my day. So what I'm saying to you then is that as that new person, as that new state of being that wants to attract these amazing people into your team, you need to start looking at some new thoughts, embodying some new I am statements, really being clear on what your values are. That then will lead to some new choices, working your grid, making some choices around living this, okay? It's not about just putting it out to the universe and just kind of going, okay, God, this is what I want. I want a rockin' business, okay? We don't just stand here. Okay, it's really, really important that you actually really embody it. You become that, because when we become it, it resonates all through us, and that vibrationally, other people will actually feel that. So those new thoughts are going to create new choices. We will do new stuff. Okay, we've got to get stuff done. It will create new actions and behaviors, new experiences will become of that, new feelings, and we will embody a new state of being. So the only way to change our reality is to look at that old state of being, step into those I am values, step into those new kind of conversations that we're having, those new thoughts in our heads, the new choices and behaviors, all of that to become a new state of being. When we're in that place, from that place, that is where we will attract awesome people to us. And I love it. I kind of giggle at times. God is funny, whatever you believe, but for me, it's God. It's hilarious sometimes because, you know, when I am in zone and I am definitely putting out that energy and I am embodying my I am statements and I am just being open to the opportunities, the people who come across my path, it's just awesome. The conversations that I get to have are truly amazing. And Joe, the whole weekend, used to keep saying, is it odd? Or is it God? And I love that because you know what? When we live it, when we embody it, wow, you know, it comes to us. It really, really does. I think a lot of teachers, though, have left one part of this I am out. And for me, I add in the was I. At the end of the day, I then ask myself, was I courage? Was I present? Was I gratitude? Was I love? Okay. Was I coachable? Was I teachable? Okay. At the end of the day, it's adding that a little bit of accountability in it. Because like I said, we can get to a stage where we just ream them off. You know, I am. Okay, and that's cool. And then the next day we get up and we do the same again. But by adding some accountability in there, it's amazing what you actually said. Because if we're not living it, we're not creating the vibration to attract those people and those conversations to us. So it's a two-part, I believe. This is just something that I believe there was just something that was missing. And I know for myself, I found that I was getting lazy. I was just reaming them off, but I actually truly there was no accountability about it to really make sure that I was embodying and I was doing truly what I needed to be doing each day to make sure that I was living my I am statements. I wasn't just saying my I am statements. So the accountability then is asking myself, well, was I? Was I love today? Was I gratitude today? Was I coachable today? Okay, asking myself those questions at the end of the day. It really, really shifted on the outcomes that I was actually having and the vibrational level that I was actually operating at. So you'll see that. Okay, I want to give you an example of an avatar that somebody actually put together after working on their values and working on what it was to actually come up with their avatar and how that actually might look. Now, this person is exceptionally creative with their words. Mine would definitely not be this creative, but I just want to kind of give you a little bit of an example of what this avatar could actually end up being. Okay, so just see if this resonates with you. But of course, you'll have other words that you will add to it as well. So once she started to look down at the characteristics that she would like to attract in it, there were a number of words in there. There were coachable, there were teachable, there were vibrant, plugging into systems, all of these kinds of things. So you'll see, listen out for the words. This is the thing that I really want to do. So listen out on to the actual words. And actually, just want to say, there's just a little question that's popped up there. Sorry, what is an avatar? An avatar is basically a vision, okay, a descriptor of the ideal person you want to attract to you. Okay, so a lot of businesses will actually look at an avatar for who it is that they actually want to attract into their business. It's their ideal customer, it's their ideal client, and for us, it's our ideal team member. I know that a number of people I've seen will do this when it comes to even the ideal partner they want to attract into their life, or the friends they're wanting to attract into their life, and that. So doing those avatars around a number of different things. Kara's done that. She's got a big drawing on a board, and it's actually on a big piece of cardboard, and it's got the different avatars for the different areas of her life that she's wanting to attract in. So you can do this in a number of different ways. So this person here, this avatar, is about attracting somebody into their business. They're looking for the ideal people they want to operate with. So this person, this avatar, is going to be a vibrant female on a health journey. She wants to live the best life possible, but wants to enjoy the special things in life too. She doesn't want to continue on the path to her default life, as she knows she's destined to have a bigger impact. And if you remember in P1, we talked about default life versus invented future. Okay. She's searching for her purpose, and knows she's close to discovering the vehicle that will lead her to her dreams. She is driven to create a life of freedom and choices, but is extremely coachable and teachable and loves the simplicity of the system. She's a passionate people person and loves to helping others to get more from life. She loves engaging in good conversations, meeting new people, and was born to be a connector. She makes everyone feel welcome and accepted as part of the tribe. She is vivacious and doesn't let anything get in her way. Her social media is consistently full of inspiring quotes, photos of delicious food, and the beautiful places she spends her days. People are drawn to her positivity. You'll find her in funky cafes surrounded by empowering women. So if you can start to think, now I don't know about any of you, but when I read that, I could visualize that person. They were right in front of me. I could actually see it. But it's not about the age. It's not about the gender. I know that we're being very specific here, that it was around she, but you will find that there will be some he's that will kind of come across this path. And we had a little giggle about that actually with this last, because that's actually what's happened too. So it's not always, for me, it's not about gender. It's not about age, it's about energy. You can have somebody who is a 40-year-old who's got a higher vibrational energy than a 25-year-old, and vice versa. So it's about the energy that you want to attract. And by living your values, by being really, really clear about who you are and who are the type of people that you want to attract, you will then start to attract those people to you. Now, by being really clear on your avatar, a couple of other things that actually happen is you can be quite focused then on your social media posts, okay? Because you're talking to that person. That's who you're talking to. You're talking to your avatar the whole time. And I really encourage you to actually name your avatar so that you're actually having that conversation with them the whole time. So that's what you're putting out there, because you start to ask yourself a question. Okay, that avatar, where would they be hanging out? What kind of things would really, really interest them? Okay, and you go and you do that. So when you take that a little bit further, you'll decide, okay, well, this person might be hanging out in cafes or in health food stores or wherever that might be. You'll actually take it another step. All your social media posts will be geared to that person. You'll be surprised how many people energetically then will be actually attracted to that. You'll go to networking events or social events where those type of people will hang out, remembering that you're already starting to embody that, so you are one of those type of people. So it's not that it's difficult, you're actually just living life, but you're doing it in a very focused way in which you know that you're attracting people. When you're doing flyers for events, they are the types of the descriptive, because we know our Juice Plus events are not rocket science. They're all pretty much the same when it comes to the content. It's the stories that oftentimes will differentiate them. You know, if you're at a mums and bubs events, there might be more stories around parenting or mums or, you know, what it is that you've done with kids and that, and how Juice Plus has actually impacted that, or Juice Plus the business has impacted that, and that. But if you're looking at, you know, somebody else, then you would look at it from that perspective. So when you're looking about your avatar, what would be the types of flyers that they would see, or the type of, you know, messages that they would see that would attract them to want to have a conversation with you? So it becomes clearer. A lot of people want to take shortcuts here, guys. And, you know, when you start in your business, you've got lots of people to talk to because of those people that are around you, their family, their friends, you know, they're interested in what it is that you're doing and they want to support you. But I will get the question time and time again. When I run out of my memory jogger, when I run out of those people that I know, where do I find new people? And sometimes we'll say things like, oh, you know, just post on Facebook, or, you know, just do this or just do that kind of thing. But at the end of the day too, it's about really clear on who you are, who you want to attract, who you want to work with, and then go and do the work to become that person to attract. As soon as you actually step into this, guys, you'll actually start to operate at a different vibrational level anyhow, and you're going to attract amazing people to you. It'll actually start to happen right from when you do it. But don't get lazy. Do the work. Go back and do your values thing. This does not take long to do, okay? Have a look at what are the characteristics of the people that you would like to attract. Have a look at your I am statements and your was I statements. Start to really hold yourself accountable for living those values. It's that whole act as if. If you're wanting to be an NMD, how would an NMD act? What would they do? This is exactly the same thing. If you want to attract amazing people to you, how would you act? How would they be? How would you live? What are the values that you would embody? What are the characteristics and traits that you would actually have as that ideal person. Because at the end of the day, like I said, our business is about people. It's you being the best person that you can be today, better than yesterday, and tomorrow being better than today. It's a growing journey. And I can promise you that if you step in and you invest in yourself and you choose to learn, and that you will continue to grow. And in that journey, you will continue to attract amazing people to you. So to recap, get curious. Ask people questions. Create opportunities for conversations. Get curious. Work on yourself. Work really, really clearly on yourself as well. Know what your values are, what it is that you want to do. Remember, like I said, our old state of being is those old same thoughts which will lead to those same choices that you did before, the same actions and behaviors which will lead to the same emotions and same feelings which will lead to the old state of being. I know that if you're listening to this, you actually are ready to really step into that new state of being. You're ready to attract amazing people into your business so that you can impact more than, because I know that all of you have a vision greater than yourselves. You want to be able to impact not just the people around you, not just your own families, but others as well. But first and foremost yourself. So that's going to create an opportunity for you to really look at your values and then create new thoughts, new kind of behaviors, new values. Okay, that's where you're going to be. So you'll step into your new state of being. And I'm excited for you because I know that if we start to embrace all of these things, what we talked about in P1, what we will talk about in P3, 4, and 5, that not only will you have an amazing business, but more importantly, you will have grown so much more as a person. And that's really what it is that we're about, making sure that all of us grow to be the best person that we were designed by God to be. And that is really, really, really exciting. So thank you for listening in.